Hey folks, it's me again. It seems like we get so caught up in politics. I'm guilty as charged. The last couple of days, that's all that's been on my mind. It's politics, politics, politics. The candidate that I am most comfortable with voting for is now out of the race. There's a couple of candidates left, one from each party basically, that have basically sewn up their party's nominations. I do not like either candidate. In fact, I don't think either candidate is fit for the office. And so I'm in a quandary as about what to do. Whether to vote for the so-called lesser of two evils or to vote for someone besides these two, which would most likely ensure, if a lot of us did that, would most likely ensure that one particular candidate gets elected. Like I said, I don't think either candidate is fit for the office. One candidate perhaps is more in line with what I believe and think, at least he claims that he is. But I can look back a number of years and see that he has changed his views. And so his views 7 or 8 years ago were more in line with his opponent from the other party. And so I don't know really what I would be getting there. And so we get all this angst and all this anger and all this vitriol pointed out at one candidate or another. And like I said, I'm guilty as charged, been doing the same thing. And I think we lose sight of what's really important. The answers to all of our problems in this world and in this country, they're not going to come through politics. In the society that we live in, the type of government that we have, the elected leaders are really a reflection of their constituents. And so if I believe in Marxism or whatever, socialism, big government, social spending, and so forth, then I'm going to vote for the candidate that most likely aligns with that. If I am, strong as far as I'm concerned, biblically, morally speaking, I might align with somebody else. But you look at who, by and large, our country is voting into office, and it's pretty clear where and what we value as a nation. Our moral compass is broken. I think that's clear from all the different things that we see going on in this world. We do not have a moral compass. We've thrown out the idea of truth. We've made it all relative now. But the thing is, God is truth. And we need to recognize that God is truth. That God's law is for all of us today. And so when we see that our country is a reflection, or is reflected, the moral caliber of our country is reflected in the people we put into office. And so you can see by and large, the people we have put into office, the people we have nominated as the heads of the two respective parties now, as the presidential candidates, are basically very immoral. And so that seems to be what we want as a government. That seems to be the kind of people that we want in office. And so when I say this, what I'm trying to say is we have a moral problem. We have a moral problem. If we think that Clinton and Trump are the two best people to run the country. And so we have a moral issue, a moral problem, a moral compass that's broken. And so electing a president, electing members to Congress, this is not really going to change anything if the moral standards of our country remain as they are. And so we have got to change people. We've got to change their ideas. We've got to change their thinking. And we've got to convince them that God is. and that He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him, Hebrews 11 and verse 6, and that we need to develop faith in God, and we need to pattern our lives after the footsteps of Jesus Christ. If we had a nation of people, even if a fair-sized percentage of this nation was to begin to draw closer to God, if we were to begin a trend of going back to the Word of God, going back to and accepting biblical standards of morality in our lives, that's going to be reflected in the future in the kinds of people that we elect, in the kinds of people that end up in control of our governments. And so, as one of our founding fathers said, I believe it was Washington perhaps, that a democracy, or a republic as they were really building, cannot survive, will not survive, without the people in their morality, without a good, solid moral foundation that the people live by. And so, again, our problem, it's not a political problem. Politics and the politics of the day, they're really a symptom of the real problem. The real problem is a heart problem. The real problem is that we have turned away from God. And so the remedy to that is not in electing or appointing different Supreme Court justices and so forth, electing officials. The only way we're going to change is we change one heart at a time, one person at a time. And so in this election sequence and cycles, let's not get so caught up in who's going to run for office and who's going to be elected, and whether or not we should vote for the lesser of two evils, whether or not my vote for a third party or a write-in vote is in effect a vote for the other side, the opposition, whoever you call the opposition. And so we've got to turn people back to God. We've got to introduce them once more to Jesus Christ, and let Jesus Christ let His Word soak into their hearts, and let them be changed from the inside out. And so when we as a people embrace the Word of God, when we as a people embrace God's standards of morality, then and only then can we change. All of this wrangling and fighting and arguing over one political candidate or another is really just a distraction. We should focus on what's really important, and that is turning men back to Christ. Thank you.